そうだ、私。私を探してる。
Man, what a bad episode of Betrothed to My Sister's Ex. God. All season long, Mari had obviously we get to her breaking point of her begging to go back to the Sheridan house and talking about how she hates herself and talking about how she doesn't deserve Kairos and talking about how Anastasia should be in her place and talking about how if Anastasia was here, she wouldn't be, even a thought in Kairos's mind. La, 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 la. And look, let me stop there. If you love the episode, because there are good things about it, there are good things about the show for sure. I think that the show is still a gem of the season. I still think it is a good watch. But if you really love the episode, I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. Hit me with the like or dislike before you leave the video. But just click off and come back next week because maybe I'll have more things to say as next week features Anastasia finally coming back, although she did threaten her sister's life for whatever reason this episode, okay? This episode, though, just wasn't very good. It ended up featuring, just a big pity party of Mari. And to kind of quell some of that, Kairos ended up letting her go and, quote unquote, letting her go and saying that he'll give her what she wants, blah, 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 blah. But they share a moment where she almost falls and her glass slipper falls off, a very Cinderella moment. And it ends up, she's ended up, being allowed to go away. But then realizing that actually she really does love Kairos and he has been doing nothing but all season long telling her how he loves her and how she's the most important thing. He has told her as straight as could be and she just doesn't believe any of his words. But finally it gets through to her when she's realizing like, oh, I might actually leave. I might actually never see him again. I might actually blah, 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 blah. So she ends up, backtracking all of that and ends up taking off to go and meet him and tell him that she loves him and all this other stuff. And then that culminates to the end of the episode where Anastasia, because she was digging into, Anastasia shows up because Kairos and her were digging into who she is and everything else. And Mari just knows her sister. And her sister comes and threatens her or whatever, and Kairos gets her off. And she's like, that's my little sister. Who knows what that's going to mean? Who knows what turmoils that's going to introduce? Also, she's so tiny. She's so little. She's so itty bitty. So we don't know what that's going to really introduce into everything. But regardless, it was a very mediocre episode. And it was just really drawn out. And last week, we were supposed to pick up this week with the Anastasia stuff. But instead, they gave us a full episode of a pity party. And I just didn't really like it. So I'm just going to say this episode was a 6 out of 10. It's still cute, it's still charming, but man, it was really disappointing this week. So let me know what you guys thought in the comments down below. And my friends, I will see you guys next week for the 11th episode as we head to the 12th last episode of the season. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Peace.